Hello everybody, my name is Petr Koutný and let's watch interesting chess game between Aronian as a white and Vidit as a black. We are watching first round of FIDE Grand Prix 2022 and this tournament is a really important tournament because first and second place, so two best players, are going to be qualified to Candidates Tournament, and the winner of this tournament has a chance to be next World Chess Champion, because the winner of Candidates Tournament will play match against Magnus Carlsen. So for this reason, this tournament is really important and two best players has a chance to be next World Chess Champion. So first game, first round, Aronian white and Vidit is black. Now we are watching a really famous pawn formation or position because of this pawn formation. Say on the left side of the board, white's got only 2 pawns against 3 black ones. White should play one day b4, a4, b5. So he will exchange 2 for 2, and at the end there should be one weak pawn. So this is a famous plan, and black need to be active, maybe in the center, or maybe he should attack white's king. Active and weaknesses, what's more. So both players need to bring their soldiers, their pieces back to game, and short castle makes sense. Now this is the first interesting position where black played bishop to a6. Looks like he is interesting to exchange his light squares bishop. Looks like this is a good move because too many pawns, black pawns, are on the light squares, and this bishop looks like, one more time, like passive or not important piece in black's position. Maybe if you are going to watch white's two bishops, one is good one, second is bad one. So without any difficulties, you will see that light squares, white's bishop is much more stronger than dark squares, white's bishop, and for this reason I'm sure that white is not really happy to exchange his light squares bishop. But this is not such an easy position, and I think that nobody is interesting to exchange this bishop. You know, white absolutely is not interesting, and why not black? Because just imagine that there will be some pawn weaknesses, and in case of pawn weaknesses, black need a defender, and because at least 2 pawns are on the light squares, black need a light square defender, and maybe for this reason I'm sure that light squares bishop on a6, even is a passive or bad, it's important to defend future pawn weaknesses. So it's interesting position, and sometimes you will see in a chess books like something like bad bishop and good bishop, but sometimes this story is much more difficult than you will find in some chess books. So c5, and exactly here, this pawn without this bishop is terribly weak. So something is going to be changed, and after this move, black played immediately bishop to b7. So he understands well this position, and he's absolutely sure that this bishop belongs back to b7. Even this move, it's not nice. It's going back, but it's important to defend this pawn. Just imagine how many times white should attack this pawn. Knight should go to f4 once, and this knight second time, and this queen another time, this bishop is going to f3, another attack, and just imagine that white will take once on c5, one rook and one rook, and you know, I think that this pawn on d5 is under heavy fire, under heavy pressure. So for this reason it's important to keep this bishop on the board. Yes, it's interesting position, but that's exactly what's going on. So let's go on. Knight to f4, and white is starting pressure against d5 pawn, and maybe looks like that this pawn is the biggest black weakness, and I hope you know that the best plan is to attack your opponent's weaknesses. makes sense to attack d5 pawn. So knight to d7 and f3, knight to f8 happened and b4. Black need to decide what he will play now. So play move c4 I think is a mistake, because one day white will play move e4 and c4 pawn will be terrible big weakness. So it's bad to have terrible bad weaknesses, and for this reason black took on d4. Looks like that both pawns are the weak pawns, and yes, they are weak. But it's important if d4 pawn is weaker than d5, and I will tell you that both pawns are weak, but it's important to attack weaknesses. And exactly here is white attacking d5, but I don't see any attack against d4 pawn. So for this reason d5 pawn looks like much more weaker than d5, and still I believe in white's small advantage. Yes, black should hold this position, and this position it's not far to be level. But maybe if I have choice to play for white or for black, I will play for white rather than black. So black took on f4, and right now white is winning first bigger advantage, two bishops advantage. But as you know, no advantage is forever. So knight to h5, f6, and this advantage is gone. So everything's changed, but what's going on? Bishop on b7, it's only defender. This bishop is attacker, and I think that this knight is much more stronger right now than knight on f8. But what's really the most important factor of this game are these two pieces. Just imagine that black's king will be weak king and white will have chance to attack this king. White is winning. Imagine that I will be wrong and black will approve that white's king is a bad king and he will attack against white's king. So both kings are weak, and you know it's up to both players which player will attack first. So black played queen to c7, and oh, yes, looks like he understands that he's going to attack weaknesses. Knight and pawn on g3, knight to e2 makes sense, and okay, looks like I love this word. Sorry for to tell you again that black is going to be more active than white. So maybe black is in a good shape, but still one or two bad pieces are answer why black is not standing with better chances. Because you know, if you have one bad piece you have bad position, and imagine that black's got two bad pieces. So even black is more active, still he need to solve how he will improve his two bad pieces. Okay, I think that it's interesting position. Open C file, open E file. Two black's minor pieces are not active, and in the same time white's two minor pieces are not active. So both players need to be careful, because if anything is going wrong, say second player has a problem. Now rook to e7 and bishop to b5 and one exchange. This exchange makes sense because after this exchange this bishop is going back to last rank, so at least another piece is not active. Queen to f4, this is maybe of a draw, because after this exchange I'm sure that black should not lost this game, but he will lose this game. So exchange change and bishop to b7, and both players played well, and we should say okay, it's a draw position, but you have to fight even in the level position, and black need to be careful. So he played h5, bishop to d3, another attack to g6, another exchange, and right now f5 is the best move, just to stop any white's threat. Because if black will miss to play move f5, white will play move g4, and the g4 is the biggest threat. Even this position looks like a safe position for black, nothing's going to be happened, and of course this is a draw. But you need to be careful till end, and this is the biggest mistake, to not be careful and to think that this game is over, because white has still chances to open the position and maybe to be more active. So black maybe is not exactly careful as he has to be, and he played maybe losing mistake. It's a surprise that this move is a losing mistake, and yes, it's happened. After move f5, nearly game over. And this rook is going to h7 and is going to take nearly everything. Okay, just imagine that black is taking on f5, take. Is a mistake to play f4 because of this check. Yes, so black need to go to e7, check, take, and this position is lost for black because g4, f4, g5, and this is a winning plan. 5 white pawn for black's one. This is a simple ending position where white is winning. So f5, g5 happened, but black lost a pawn, and Aronian is one of the strongest chess player with extra pawn without any compensation. So now we should only watch how white will win this position, and he will not give any chance to black. Black is trying to hold this position, but it's hard to hold this position without any pawn. You know, just imagine that you are playing against Aronian without one pawn. There is nothing to play and nothing to say. Only just watch this position, because white is just improving, exchanging, and doing his best. This is no draw, and looks like yes, check is kind of back. So the last hope for this rook is gone, and this position is lost with extra piece. So what we saw, I think that we saw maybe interesting position where both players was not happy to exchange their light squares bishop. Then we saw maybe a level position with one, say, small blunder. f5 was interesting to play, and after this move, black lost a pawn, maybe blunder pawn, and it was nearly impossible to hold this game against Aronian, because extra pawn without any compensation, without any counterplay, even in worse position, and Aronian should celebrate his first point, maybe important point, because, you know, as I told you, this tournament is important, and I hope that, finger crossed, maybe Aronian is going to win this tournament, and he will play maybe one day World Chess Championship match against Magnus Carlsen. It's still too far to say that he will, but at least he should have a chance. I hope you enjoyed this video, so if yes, feel free and press like, and made my day by following my YouTube chess channel. Thank you, see you soon, take care, bye bye.